Hello and good evening. Welcome back to Fancy Football. This is our evening show. We'll look at the latest news boggling football this evening. Uh, and where do we start from now? Uh, the 19 clubs that form the EPL currently now have voted down the idea of scrapping VAR from the Premier League. It's a good one for me, and I think I want VAR to strive. I want them to the technology to be used in English football as so to everybody. So it was a proposal that was brought forward by Wolverhampton Wanderers, who deemed it fit to bring in that proposal that VAR should be scrapped. They did not get their way this time around. Hopefully, there'll be much more improvement for VAR. We'll talk about that. We'll also look at transfers, latest transfers. What is happening in the world of transfers? Benjamin Sesko. 3 clubs in England are really looking for this guy. And also Conor Gallagher. Will he be leaving Chelsea or will he be staying in Chelsea? He has 1 year left in his contract. The likes of Aston Villa are really pushing up to see if they could sign him or would Chelsea keep him. So we'll talk about that. Then we'll have just send us a message on the chat section. Let's talk, and I'll reel out your chats. Then hopefully we'll just have that section for the fans. So let's dive into what we have today, and I'll be right back after this break. Once more, good evening and welcome back to Fancy Football. My name is Philip, or you can call me Omo Fields. Let's talk football now. It's no news that the 19 clubs of the EPL have voted to keep VAR rather than scrapping it. The only club that didn't vote is Wolverhampton Wanderers, who brought the proposal. But they should have known that bringing this proposal, it is bound to fail because they don't have the support. But they have to try and see. How did we get here? How did we get to this stage that a club wants to scrap a certain idea or a certain rule in the EPL? This is because Wolverhampton Wanderers were really hammered with controversies of VAR, starting from the first game of the season against Manchester United at Old Trafford. They were denied a penalty. If you look at subsequent games, upside, no upside, these are the issues. And VAR has not been perfect, but it's a technology that could be improved. Like I said in my previous show, I said if you look at VAR, if you look at this VAR is manned by humans also. These are human beings that mount those machines, that look at those controversies, that look at whether it's a foul or it's a penalty or not a penalty. And these humans tend to make errors, even despite it's glaring. But I once said on this show that, or on Fancy Football, that these errors can be minimized, whether we like it or not. The errors can be minimized. And if those human beings or those people given the mantle of leadership to ensure that these fouls are looked at and tell the referee this is a foul, don't add emotions to it. There's too much emotion, especially in English football. There is too much emotions, and we have to call a spade a spade. Some referees or the head of the VAR, some of these head of it, they make decisions that affect some other teams. We see it on, even with the naked eyes. You see it. This is a penalty, and VAR will come back and say it's not a penalty. If you take such approach or such, let's say we take that same foul to another referee in Europe, that referee in Europe will say it's a penalty. But what is really going on in England? Because some of these guys have taken side. Some of these referees have taken side. And when you have taken side, you are bound to make mistake. Not only just mistake, you are bound to make the wrong call that affect the other club, and it has to be stopped. Referees in England, VAR officials in England, they have to be professional to the core, whether we like it or not. They have to be professional. They have to call what is right to be correct, and they have to call what is wrong also to be correct. So I want to ask, Wolverhampton Wanderers are in their own right within the confines of the law that governs the Premier League to come up with this proposal. Now the proposal is, let's keep VAR and let's improve on it. Yes, that means Howard Webb and his group of referees and VAR officials have to sit down to get these ideas right. That is what I think. They have to sit down to get these calls right. And when they make these calls, they should put aside emotions. They should put aside everything that is concerning where I belong, or I like this team or I don't like this team. And that is why I think it is affecting English football, because referees are tied to clubs emotionally. VAR officials are tied to club emotionally. And that is what I think it should be. We've been watching football year in, year out. Like for me, for close to 2 decades and a half. That's 25 years plus. And I know what an offside is. Even despite those rules, the offside rule has evolved over the years. I catch up with the new offside rule. Most of us know when it's a penalty, when contacts are made, when arms are being raised in the box and the ball is being struck. You've made yourself big. This thing should be called out, and VAR has to act in a proper way, in a proper manner. Thank God there are other things that will be introduced going forward by the English FA, and we hope that once those things are introduced, it will help improve officiating. It will help improve the way VAR calls are being made. It will help reduce pressures from the referee, and the referee and the VAR officials. They have how will I even put it? They have to put aside their emotions. That is what I always say. Put aside your emotions, allow things to take a shape, and that is what I think. If you're watching us right now, kindly subscribe to Fancy Football, hit the notification bell, and like this video as well. Send us your comments. Please comment on this on this video. What do you think about keeping VAR? Is it a good idea? I know some Wolverhampton Wanderers fans will not be happy, but it is what it is. VAR has to stay. England cannot be the only country without VAR, without. You just have to improve on it. You just have to make sure that those calls are accurate. Those calls are really seen, and they are seen faster. So, for me, I think it's a wonderful day for English football. Football won. The rules won. Not the referees. Just permit me to say, but the rules have to be there. Like every other country, England has to set the standard. Okay, let's move on from the VAR saga to latest news and transfers. I think for today we know that Man United, Chelsea, Arsenal are in for Benjamin Sesko. These three clubs have submitted their proposals, or rather they have tabled their proposal to Sesko and his representative. And we expect that Sesko have to decide whether he also wants to stay in RB Leipzig, who have also tabled up an improved deal for him. But guess what? I don't think this player will stay long, will remain long in Germany. He wants to play in the Premier League, and I think he will be in the Premier League next season. But the question is, where will this guy be? Where will Benjamin Sesko be playing next season? Will it be Arsenal? Will it be Chelsea? Will it be Man United? I think it's left for this guy to decide. Very athletic, 6 feet 5 inch tall for a striker. And I think he's just 21 or 20, rather 20. So for Sesko, he has to decide. He has to see if playing in England would be the best option for him, rather than looking at else, rather than remaining in Germany. I think for that, definitely he wants to come to England. So where will he be playing in England? Will he be Man United? Man United already have a young striker. I think they need somebody else that is much more experienced, that will help Rasmus Højlund. Chelsea, they have they have a striker, but the lad has not been firing from all cylinders. So I think Chelsea will be looking at Sesko to see if they could get his transfer. Then Arsenal as well. We know why they fall short of winning the Premier League for 2 seasons now. They need a striker that can score 20 plus goals over the course of it. They need a striker to add more goals, and they don't have it currently now in their ranks. Mikel Arteta don't have it in his rank. They don't have that striker. So I just think that the decisions have to be made. Sesko have to decide whether the deal suits him or not. Sesko also have to decide whether the proposals being laid on him by these 3 clubs will help him develop. That's number one. Will help him make the club that he's going to look good. And he also has to decide whether which of these 3 clubs suits his style of play very well. Is it Man United currently that don't really have that style of play? Is it Arsenal? Yes, Arsenal, we know where they are going to. Is it Chelsea that have been moving managers left, right, center? So he has to decide all of this. He has to put all of this into cognizance to ensure that at the end of the day, the choice of which club he will be playing next season will only rest on his shoulder and solely on his shoulder. And that is what I think. That is my take about him and moving away from Germany. So tell me what you think about Benjamin Sesko. Tell me if Man United, Chelsea, or Arsenal, which of these 3 clubs will suit this guy. Tell me what you think about him. Tell me if he will also suit the Premier League. Let's see. Let's move on from Sesko. From Sesko to Gallagher. This Chelsea player, will he still be in Chelsea next season? I think that's the question most of us have to ask. A very good midfielder, a young lad, 24 years of age, somebody that can command, that can play with both feet, score with both feet as well. We saw the goal he scored at Aston Villa in the 2-2 draw last season. He's a player that can really, I think over time he has matured. Going on, especially when he went on loan to Crystal Palace 2 seasons ago, I think he's a player that you can really rely on. Yes, sometimes he's off and on. Sometimes he doesn't really come to the party. But for Sesko, I mean, for Conor Gallagher, I just think that if you look at him as a player, you know there's a he'll be going to the Euro. There's something in him. People compare him with Valverde, but I think he's a little bit different from Valverde. But he has that energy, that center of gravity, that zeal to chase the ball for 90 minutes, that positive zeal to take the ball forward all the time. I think Gallagher has it. But will he be in Chelsea? And for Chelsea fans, the question they have to ask, this question. They have to ensure that these questions are answered by Gallagher and the Chelsea hierarchy as well. If Chelsea let him go, they will get a good price for him. They're about 50 million pounds for him. Will Aston Villa have that money to pay? I think it's a question we have to ask Aston Villa, because they're also part of the 6 clubs that needs to sell. And if they have to sell, to balance their book. I think they don't have to spend close to £50 million to buy Gallagher. So for me, if my own opinion is that he's gonna stay. He's gonna stay in Chelsea, maybe to complete his last year in Chelsea, to just to stay in Chelsea, or rather, he might decide that okay, Chelsea might decide, let's give this guy a new contract and let's see what will happen this season. He'll be going to the Euros. I'll be watching him in the Euros. So kindly send us your message. We'll read them out there. For the Chelsea fans, for the Man United fans, where do you think Man United? Do Man United need Sesko? Do they really need Sesko? That's the question. Chelsea, yes, they need Sesko. For me, that's my opinion. I think Man United need a centre back, 2 centre backs this season, 2 midfielders, 2 defensive midfielders to help Kobe Mainoo and Bruno Fernandes in that midfield. And they also need a striker as well. So they need a second striker, but not as young, somebody with experience, somebody that is proven to help assist Rasmus Højlund. For Arsenal, I think they are the one in need of that striker. If they have to challenge Manchester City next season, they have a team now. We know they have a team to challenge Manchester City. But what we don't know if they have the players that will give them the chance to challenge City. And this is where we are now with regards to these 3 clubs. And when it comes to Sesko, for Gallagher, I think he will still be in Chelsea next season. Chelsea needs him. Chelsea need a very vibrant midfield. Maresca, the new coach, also need a player like Gallagher to move that ball forward. I think for me, players like Gallagher are always positive. When they get the ball, it's pump forward. They don't think about taking it back. It's pump forward. And without the ball, they are good. They hustle players around the pitch. They try to make sure that those players make mistakes. Not necessarily produce those tackles that we need, but very, very important in putting pressure on players in some areas of the pitch to lose the ball or for their opponent to regain the ball. I think he's a wonderful player for me. So this is much I can bring you on Fancy Football this evening on the latest football news and transfers. So hopefully we're back here tomorrow for an exciting edition. Maybe not at this time, but maybe in the evening, where we'll bring you much more. If you watch this video or you watch back the watch back video, please kindly subscribe to Fancy Football, hit the notification bell, and help us grow Fancy Football, please. I will see you tomorrow, and thank you very much for watching us, and for those that will be watching in the playback.